Today, we are talking about the ultimate guide for writing a better product description. And we're going to talk about it in 8 simple steps. I don't know about you. You work with clients that sell products, correct?
Oh, they're my preferred clients to work with. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. So, product pages are my specialty. That's what I love to write. And product pages are similar to landing pages, only you are actually creating language and using conversion copywriting language to sell something. And I know that you want to create a product page that's going to sell your products, but it can be hard to understand what works and what doesn't. And in my opinion, we all need tools that are going to help us write an SEO optimized meta description for each of our product pages, as well as that product description copy. And that way, when someone searches Google, they're going to see the best possible results from our site. And that's where Jasper comes in. So this copywriting assistant that we're talking about today, it's the perfect solution for any e-commerce store owner who wants more sales. And it helps you quickly add descriptions, keywords, or in line with Google's latest changes. It is written specifically for SEO optimization. So all you have to do is do some simple keyword research and then pop the words into Jasper.ai. You can ensure every single one of your product pages has been optimized for search engines. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to show you how to write a better product description for your Shopify products. It's not as hard as it seems. And Kelly and I are going to bounce some ideas off of each other. But before we get started, Kelly, do you want to introduce yourself and what you do and what brings you here?
What do I do? Oh, it's such a good year to change what I do. I am a health coach, Kel. I've been a holistic health coach for almost 10 years now. I've been a business coach, and I'm bringing those two worlds together. So, what I do is help you put your health first instead of last by simplifying your business and freeing up some of that creative mind space so that you actually have time to go for a walk, make a smoothie, and take care of yourself. So, it's all holistic and cohesive and fun. So, you can check in with me on anything business, food, but yeah, it's nothing crazy, but it's simple steps that actually work. So you actually like what you do and like yourself.
I'm so glad that you're here. And to be successful in business, it's really that you just need the right tools. I'm a firm believer in that. And I feel like the longer that I'm in the online business world, the more I'm exposed to more tools and I can see how things work together and kind of puzzle piece together. And the part that is often very hard and overlooked is the copywriting piece. And it's really hard, I think, for very small businesses to justify the cost of a great copywriter. You might think that you might think that most important things is product packaging or product development or customer service or 1,000 other things. But if we've never met before, I just want to take a minute to introduce myself. I'm Crystal, and we're going to talk about something that can make or break your business. And that thing is your copywriting. So if you want people to buy what you sell, then this session is for you. You're in the right place. And Kelly, the first thing I would say is that it's important to know thyself. It's important to know yourself and your product. I think that every business owner should be involved to some extent in the copywriting because they understand the keywords of their product. And then beyond that, what's also important is to make sure that you're using the right words for your audience. And you want to include those keywords and those right words throughout the description. So I have a funny story about this, but I'll let you respond and then I'll tell you the story.
Gosh, so many things that you just said that are so important. Knowing thyself and knowing who you are, how you want to be perceived in the world, and what you do as part of like your actual business structure, your pillars. That's part of my content creation plan and what we're working on in my small group coaching. And we're working on, sorry, big truck just drove by. We're working on these types of keywords, not keyword, not to make like a play on words here. But once you figure that out, then you can figure out those keywords of what you always say and then what is going to resonate with your customers. And I just think, I can't wait to hear the story, but I think that is so important and the best place to start. You have to do the work, test your business, figure out what you do and sell, and then figure out the right words and copy to get people's attention.
Here's how the story goes. there's this company called Bush Balm, and their name is pretty indicative of the product that they were selling. They were selling and still continue to sell products for awkward body issues and ingrown hairs and dark spots on your skin and just different things that people don't like to really talk about, but a lot of people have the problem of or whatever. And their initial product was some sort of oil for the pubic region. And so they went to, I think, like an Etsy marketplace type event where they were trying to sell this pubic oil that they created. And it didn't take them very long to realize that when they described their product to people and said, "Hey, we're selling pubic oil," the guy described it as people saying, "Oh, okay, that's a pass. That's a no. I'm not, I'm not buying that. I don't want to talk about that." Whether people could identify their need for a product like that was irrelevant because the words that they were using were just not attractive in nature. It wasn't like a body positive thing. And so by the end of the weekend and the end of the event, they had changed their positioning from a pubic oil to a bikini line skincare product. And it's isn't that amazing? Isn't that just such a smart
Yeah.
idea?
Like my initial, I'm cackling on mute, cackling, laughing because it's true. It's people's unwanted or unmentionables. But yeah, bikini line is acceptable.
Exactly.
But
Unmentionables is such a great word. So, yeah, so that was the story, and now they've grown into this, like, multi-million-dollar business. But that very first weekend, it was all about learning the language and just making sure that you're using the right words for your audience. So, I thought that was just one of those stories that you'll never forget because of the unmentionables, but definitely a lesson that we can all apply to our businesses in some way. That's number one. Know thyself and thy product and include keywords and the keywords that people are actually searching for and want to hear and use. So that's number one. Number two is to be clear, concise, and conversational. And the idea here is to use active voice, not passive. I don't know about you, Kelly, but the last time I had a lesson on active voice was my freshman year of college. Before that, it was my junior year of high school. That was the first time I'd ever heard of it. Those BR whatever verbs.
oh gosh, you're really taking me back to English class. I barely remember the pronouns that we're supposed to use. Like we had a song for pronouns. I don't remember active or passive. Yeah, is it I, me, my, she's? Yeah. So yeah, it's been a while. So I guess
Yeah.
to your point, I don't remember.
Okay. Those words, I, me, she, those type of things, those are actually good words to use. And there's a balance here because it's like rather than saying, let's see, well, I guess I can't even think of an example right now, but using the word are, like ARE, they are going to do this. Instead, this product action verb this. That's the type of language and writing that you want to use. However, you still want to keep it conversational. And sometimes in conversation, we do use a passive type voice. But another good rule of thumb is to keep it short and sweet because less is more. People don't want to read a lot. They don't want to mentally work hard when they're reading your product description. Writing those product descriptions in the first person and keeping it short and sweet and just talking to your reader is so important because a lot of times people will talk to others and say, "Hey guys, this is what's happening in my business today." But the fact is we are having a conversation with one other person. So I'm speaking to Kelly every time she comes to my website and it's Kelly, here is the product for you. I know in your life, Kelly, this is what's going on. And so it's really important to speak directly to that person versus talking to them in a way that makes them feel like just a part of the crowd. What do you think about that?
Yeah, what's funny is we were texting this morning and I was talking about product descriptions and wondering if I could use this part of Jasper. and the copywriting skills that it helps us bring out for recipe descriptions on a project that I'm working on. So it's, wait a minute. Yeah, short and sweet, because nobody wants to read a novel on why they need to eat green. They don't need to be educated. However, quick, concise, active, talking to them specifically. Are you too busy? Are you running between errands? Those types of points are really true. And I think we all get stuck, especially if we're talking on social. Like you use the example of, hey guys, it's difficult to think about one person. And that is a muscle that needs reflexing or flexing constantly. Being able to change your intro with a statement, maybe you have a tip for me, instead of saying, hey everyone, it's me, I'm just popping in, it gets old. But what having that directional conversation with someone that can, Crystal on the other end of my story can resonate and say, oh, she's talking to me now, she has my attention and I'm not just one of many. You make a good point.
Yeah, I've noticed that in some emails that I receive from other people, but now that I have had this revelation to myself, every time I write something or I say something, I am pretending I'm talking to someone. And there's someone specific that I talk to in my emails. And so when I'm writing, I'm just acting as if I'm speaking directly to her. And then her becomes 500 people on the other side of that email. But I want to make sure now that, and I would encourage people as well to think about that person on the other side of the screen, because when they feel seen and cared about as an individual, then they feel that much more connected to you and inspired by what you're doing and wanting to be a part of it and that type of thing. So I've noticed personally more responses in my emails when I take that approach. And I think the other part of it too is, as business owners, we don't want to necessarily talk to one person because we want to talk to the masses. We're trying to sell things. And the more people we talk to, the more we can sell. But it's just such a piece of irony that you actually will sell more by talking to the camera as if you're talking to an individual, having a conversation one on one with someone.
Yeah, as irony in a storyteller fashion or in TV or movies or art, like the dramatic irony is, or there's a different irony, but one of them is like the viewer knows what's going on, but the people in the show don't know what's going on. So it's like the big picture, like you said, the irony is talking to one person works, even when you're in it and it doesn't feel right or you don't feel like you're doing the right thing. That is what works.
Absolutely. And Jasper was the one that really walked me through this, the AI tool that we're talking about today, because so many times when I would write a product description, I would start with, here's the thing, this is what the thing does, and this is how much the thing costs. But when I started using Jasper, Jasper started putting my words into marketing frameworks. And I've talked about the PAS framework, which is problem, agitate, solution, or ADA, which is attention, interest, desire, action. And so, what Jasper showed me was that instead of leading with, this is my stuff, buy my stuff, this is how much my stuff costs, lead with, I know you're having this problem. And I'm so glad you're here because I want to talk to you about how to solve that problem and what's good your life's going to look like if you don't solve that problem. And I also want to reassure you, I have the solution to this problem. So you're in the right place. And that's such a different approach than, here's my stuff, buy my stuff, this is how much my stuff costs.
And I love that. And I think the biggest ahas of using this Jasper tool is just what you said. It teaches us. It's, wait a minute, I can put my phrases down, or I could put copy that I thought was good for a product description. And then to read it with one of their different templates blows my mind, because we did that in one of our previous calls. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? This is what I had. And this is what it generated? Wow, yes, that's what I wanna use. So if it works on me for my own product, I wanna use that tool and use it more often for other people to read.
Absolutely. Okay, so we talked about number one, knowing yourself and your product, being clear, concise, and conversational. And then number three, here's another thing that I probably learned from Jasper, but using emotive language, like emotional language to paint a picture in your client's mind of what they'll get out of reading your description. And sometimes this could be funny. Like I think of the Bush Balm example. I know they have a lot of funny things. And they even talked about their TikTok advertising where they would say just like some shocking things that again everybody thinks about but nobody talks about, and you definitely don't talk about it publicly. Those unmentionables that really get your attention and also maybe make you smile. Then maybe you have a business where your relationship with your customer is a little bit more emotional, and so tugging on those heartstrings with your copy could be an effective way of selling your product. So I really like that idea of adding that emotive language, which in essence, it's making someone feel things, use their five senses, like using words that describe sound, that describe touch or feel, that describe what else is there with their five senses or smelling, like those type of things.
Seeing, tasting.
Yeah.
I wish we could get smelling and tasting across digital ways. We can use the other five. We can let them see, hear. Oh, well, we can't do touch. We can do some of them. But yeah, you got to make that emotional connection and try to bring out their senses and connect those through words. This is what the sun feels like on a warm, sunny day. The warmth of the sun on your skin as you walk outside, wondering if you have enough SPF protection on for the day. You know that feeling. Is it too hot? Should I go in? So yeah, words definitely need emotional connection. Yeah. That's probably the hardest thing for me as a writer, to find those words or to take the time to find those words to connect.
It's crazy. I have a hard time doing that for my own business. But as you're talking about SPF and sun protection, I was like, that would make a great commercial to have somebody go outside and they're just enjoying basking in the sun. But then all of a sudden, like their skin catches on fire or something, just something really extreme to show the danger of being outside in the sun without sunscreen. And those are the types of emotional evoking ideas that really capture people's attention and illustrate the need for the solution that your business provides. So I think that would be a great exercise. It's just as a marketing activity, it's just to think about what emotional or physical or just the different types of responses that people could have, good and bad, from utilizing your product.
I think this is why customer interviews are so important. When you're creating either your marketing material or a new group or whatever your current, or reinventing yourself currently, but when you interview customers and speak directly to your ideal client, they can give you a lot of the right verbiage and tell you how it feels if we don't know it ourselves, because we are past that and it's hard to go back in those shoes. And I had a great call the other day with someone, and it was supposed to be just be like a business coaching exchange. And when she heard what my new program was and where I was going, she's, oh my gosh, Kelly, I'm your ideal client. And this is how it feels for me. I'm the Tasmanian devil. I am pre diabetic. I am sitting here working. I've made multiple six figures and my health is crashing. I almost got divorced and my life is, I don't have enough time. She goes to make a bloody smoothie and she's hysterically just saying you need to get these people 5 more minutes so they can care about doing the right things. And I was like, wow. I said, can I, and I didn't record it. Nothing was recorded. So having a market group or having a question error that you really can get through and record calls with people to hear the inflexes in their voice, to hear when the emotions come through and to hear the words that they use. Oh, it's so good and so juicy. Hey, Stephanie.
Sorry, I muted myself. So yes, definitely such a powerful strategy to use. And I find it incredible how when you're just brainstorming with another business owner, you can come up with these ideas, but sometimes we just feel stuck in our day to day, right? So another thing is to sprinkle in some juicy adjectives. So adjectives are descriptive words. So again, building on that emotional sensory language and really getting people's attention. I don't know about you, but I've read some things recently about how the power words that people have talked about using previously in online marketing are starting to lose their power because maybe partly because they're used so much and People are just like kind of getting into the game and they understand like digital marketing a lot more. So, what do you think? What do you think about using juicy adjectives in your marketing?
I think we need a bigger database. And again, that's why I love this tool because you can only use, if I'm speaking of food and I'm literally writing a cookbook right now, I can only use the words delicious so many times or tasty. And what tasty to me may not be tasty to somebody else. So I think it's really important to have a bigger bank of words to come to and have different ways to assess that. So going back to your point before, it's yeah, when you get on the phone with somebody else or get on a call, yeah, people can really hash it out together. But I also think it's really important to have a tool that when we're stuck, we can just open it up and get some ideas. And then that sometimes is all we need to set us off in the right direction.
Yeah. And okay. So Jasper is that tool, which is really great. But that's one of the reasons why I love Clubhouse. And then also just being open to other industries' ideas of marketing. Because there's this one blog I was reading. I can't remember the girl's name, but she's an SEO specialist. And she was talking about how she was a master baker of SEO and how you sprinkle in some keywords and spice it up with some research. And I can't remember all the things, but she mixes it all together to give you a great plan for your website. And it was like, that's really interesting. It definitely caught my attention because they were so different. It wasn't cooking language about cooking, but it was language that was familiar applied to an unfamiliar concept like SEO, which then made it feel a little more attainable and a little less threatening because there was that connection there. Yeah, I think that, yeah, we need more words, but a great way to find more words is to interact with people outside of your particular niche because there's been so many people on Clubhouse that have completely different businesses than I have, but to hear their approach and some of their strategies and how they promote or talk about their business, it's like, oh, what piece of that could I bring over to my business? Even though we have nothing to do with each other, how could I utilize some of that and really freshen up my own marketing? So yes, Jasper, but also these conversations are such a great opportunity.
That's a good reminder because I need to get on Clubhouse a little bit more. So if I'm ever stuck, just open up the app and see if I can join a room. Is that what you're suggesting? Or schedule the next available call? Getting, like I said, getting on the phone with someone is amazing. Sometimes I'm just in my zone and I need an answer immediately because I have squirrel brain. And if I get out of it and schedule something, I can't always get back into that zone. It's like the 3 a.m. brainstorm that I wish I had my laptop last night when I could have wrote a whole page. It was like perfect copy, just spewing out at me because I couldn't sleep. And I'm like, I'll never get that back again. But I fell back asleep thinking, okay, it's in there somewhere. I'll find it later.
Yeah, I bought a notebook for my ideas, and I've told you I want to create this entrepreneur journal, but I have a notebook now. It's almost filled. It was a notebook very similar to what my son has for school, like one of those one subject notebooks, but I've almost filled it up already. And I just started using it at the first of the year just to have a place for all of my ideas because they were everywhere. They were in my notes, they were on random pieces of paper in my house. And so I told myself I want to write every night and just reflect on what I learned today so that those ideas that I have didn't get away from me. Because I think we're all like that. It's easy to have a great idea, but then so many things pop up during the day and take our attention away, and we lose the great idea, which is so frustrating.
Exactly. I mean, however you can get it out, even if you make a note, but yeah, collection and a notebook. I think there can't be enough planners in the world. I really don't believe that. I think people need journals at different points of their lives and different planners for different things. So I can't wait to see what you create.
Thank you. Okay, so back to the writing better descriptions. Another thing is to tell a story and get personal. So again, like hearing the story of Bushbaum and how they evolved from using language like care for the pubic region versus bikinis, bikini line skincare, I will never forget that. And so I'm thinking, how can I have a memorable story? How can you have a memorable story? And I do know that when I tell people that I've had a heart attack and they look at me and they're thinking, oh my gosh, you're like way too young to have a heart attack. And just so you know, I am older than I look. I'm 40 years old, but yes, I'm still too young to have a heart attack. But when I tell people that story and I tell them of the stress that I was under and just this pressure that I was putting on myself to be the best at everything and try to do everything, even though I was exhausted and physically not taking care of myself, not working out, not eating right. And the exercise piece of it wasn't so much for my physical body, but it was more for my mental health because I was one of those people that could have a t-shirt that says, I run so I can eat chocolate. That was the reason why I ran. I ran so I could eat what I wanted without gaining weight. And then the other reason I ran was because it ran off the crazy, all of the anxiety and stress and all that type of things. So as long as I was working out and having some intense workouts, I was working out all of those stressors and that emotional heaviness. But as I got busier with my business and then was still trying to figure out, should I, quit my day job? Should I quit teaching and pursue my business full time or not? All of that stress just added up and added up to a point where my body just said, enough. I can't take this. And so the times that I've shared that story, I feel people connect with that because we've all had our breaking points on our level of stress that kind of pushed us to the edge. And I'm just so grateful to be here right now, first of all. But those are ways that we can connect with our potential clients. And I think everybody needs to find that story that helps you connect with the people that you want to serve and not be afraid to get a little personal. What do you think?
I think you added a great caveat in there. It's the story that connects the people who you want to serve. Because I have a story and I have a story of trauma, and most people do in their life. I don't think anyone escapes this world without having something traumatic happen to them. But is that really what's going to connect the unhealthy business owner to reach out and join one of my programs or buy my cookbook or take one of my classes? No, probably not. It might make me stand out a little bit more, but having a really good story and telling your heart attack story or me telling where I couldn't wear shorts one summer and I was head to toe in eczema because I was so inflamed and stressed out. That leads into more of my why you need systems in your business and more of what I offer. So I think what you just said is picking the right story that's going to connect with your product because ultimately, Crystal, I hear a lot of this right now, but this was said to me the other day like, our goal is to make sales, not engagement. Yes, I want people to engage with me and love what I do and what I put out there, but I want to make the sale. I want to create copy that creates people to get money in my bank account and get the transformation that they want. So I'm not here to just get people to like me and know my story.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And once I think when I was still working a full-time job, it was a little bit easier to focus more on the fun parts of my business. And when I realized that, oh, there were some people who realized or didn't realize on Instagram that I actually had a business or they didn't know what I was doing. That was a wake up call early on to say, hey, you are in business. You need to make this a little bit more about building business relationships. But at that time, I was still working. So I didn't feel the pressure as much to make those sales when it was a little bit more on the fun side of just maybe relationship building. But I definitely hear what you're saying because now that this is my main source of income, although I still really enjoy it and I'm having a lot of fun, there is an element of yeah, I got to make some sales because this is what is going to contribute to my household. This is household income now.
Yep, absolutely. I love it. I love that you agree because I know you talk about this a lot with strategy, and I know that spills over into some of your group coaching programs that you do to help your Shopify clients because it's about people shopping on your site and shopping from you. And oh, there's just so many different pieces that connect right here at this junction. I think I'll just refrain and save it for another call.
Make sure you write it down though, so you don't forget, because yeah, we can totally go in a few different directions with that. Okay. So the next step of writing a better description is making sure to include a call to action at the end of your description that encourages people to buy. And I did not realize for how often I did not have a call to action. And I'm talking about Bush Mom a lot here, but I really was intrigued with their story. And I'm still in the midst of the Shopify Masters series right now. And so, of course, I went to their website to see what they had going on. And one of their urgency creating mechanisms on their website is that you can sign up. They have one of those gamify coupon generators where you spin the wheel and you get a coupon code, but they upped it a notch because that coupon code was only good for 15 minutes. And personally, as I've created and reiterated my own website, I struggled with having just a simple call to action on my product descriptions for years. And then, okay, so I've got that checked off. Now we've got call to actions at the end of those product descriptions. But what about creating some urgency with an offer? And with, I created an offer, it was 10% off, but it had no expiration date. So the closest I've come to what they've done is saying, okay, you have to use this coupon code within the next 48 hours to receive that discount and it automatically expires. It's through Klaviyo. It's really a helpful setup there. But I thought that was just so clever, just making sure that you have a strong call to action, not only at the end of your product description, also some sort of call to action slash incentive to purchase now.
Deadlines are the only way that I purchase things anymore. I was in yoga class yesterday and we were talking about the yoga studio owner. Like, she's a great person, but sometimes she just puts her, yes, I'll do that things on the back burner. And I said, yeah, that's me. I said, unless there's a deadline, I will probably put something on the back burner. And then one of the other gals said, I wish I could do that. I can't sleep until I get something that I have to get done. So to your point, it's just, wait a minute. The deadline of this coupon expires the 27th. Okay, that's going to get me to purchase. Or in the yoga case, there were 2 spots left to a workshop I wanted to attend. So I'm like, okay, there's the deadline. I need to sign up right now.
Yeah, for sure. And you're right. There's so many things competing for our attention. A deadline is the only thing to really make us stop and take notice because otherwise it's just on that list of things I'll get to. And I think I'm personally a mix of you and the other woman in the class because if there's something that I want to learn or I hear about that I feel is going to help my business or someone else's business right away, then I have to implement it right away. I have to figure out how to make it work and include it in the overall strategy. And I have to do it before I go to sleep. But there are so many other things that are added to my opportunity list for my SWOT analysis that maybe I'll follow up on that maybe when I have time, but they don't have that urgent implementation need that I have with other things. So I'm not sure exactly why I feel a certain way in one circumstance and another in a different circumstance.
Yeah, I think that's true. We do have a book and a notebook and write it down. These are the things that can happen next. I think the biggest mantra that I have right now is I'm not adding anything to my to-do list until I shorten my current to-do list. Otherwise, it'll never end. So I'm like, nope, no more projects, no more clients, no more this, no more. And then I try to stay super focused. So that's my own way of just keeping things out of my brain. Because if I just keep adding things in front of me, I'm like, this list will never get done. But yeah, being a mix of it. And I think we as humans, we give attention to what we can, what we have to solve right away. And some things just ultimately always go to the back burner. So how can we get people? Is there a method that you have for a juicy call to action, or is there any type of rule that you have? Anything to add to that? Just like a deadline maybe, or anything?
I think the first step is adding a call to action. And if you don't know what a call to action is or how to create a call to action for your products, this is another great place for Jasper to help you in your copywriting because Jasper's always going to end the copywriting element with a question or a call to action or some sort of do this now activity to tell your reader exactly what you want them to do. And so I would say first of all, make sure that there is a written call to action at the end of every product description. And then that whole idea of gamification is such a great one. And there's so many apps out there that allow you to do this. But if you're still just moving through the levels of creating urgency for your products, then I would say definitely implement some sort of email timed thing. Like I said with Klaviyo, Klaviyo automatically generates a coupon code for anyone who signs up for my email list. And then that coupon code will expire in a set period of time. And you can experiment with, okay, if I set this time for 24 hours, how does that compare with 48 hours or even 1 hour? So I think those would be the things that I even personally might try to do next is just like you say, test it, test different timelines for that call to action and see which one actually results in more conversions and more sales.
Yep, that's the only thing we can do, right? Just test it all and find out what works to get the best results that we're looking for. Sadly, that's the only way to figure it out. Test, ask, assess. You got it.
Yeah. Okay. So our last thing here in our ultimate guide for writing a better description is to include all the necessary information about the product. So that is measurements and materials used. But the thing is, I want to, reiterate that this to me comes last because the emotional part of writing a product description really should come first. The emotional reason that is driving people to buy the product should come first, then some sort of reinforcement of the good that will happen if they buy the product or the bad that will continue to happen if they don't buy the product. And so those two things have to come first. And then it's okay, here's the solution and here's details about the solution. And I learned this from Jasper and it seems so obvious now. But before I thought, okay, people come to a Shopify product page, they need to know the dimensions and all the facts about the product, and then they'll click that add to cart button. But I didn't even stop to reflect on what is my own purchasing behavior. Is that necessarily what makes me buy is a bunch of facts and statistics, or is it a particular benefit of the product that I think will either have on my life or someone else's life that really provokes me to buy. So I do think those dimensions and those type of specifications are important, but not the most important. So I would put those at the end. What about you, Kelly?
As someone that pretty much just buys things for the house, the kitchen, and maybe some t-shirts online right now, because I'm just trying to be such a minimalist. I think that's exactly the flow that my mind goes to. I think, do I need this? How can this improve my life? What will I be like without it? And then it's okay, what's the size? Is this exactly what I'm looking for? Funny story, my daughter bought me a backpack. It was sustainably sourced. It had great material. I think it was hemp. And I'm like, this is beautiful. And it was the pattern we love. She didn't read the dimensions. It couldn't even fit my laptop. And that was the whole goal, to have a laptop carrying backpack that I could take when I travel or I do road trips. So now I have two because she went back and she ordered a second one. However, it doesn't have the same pattern. So I'm like, okay, that's okay. But she does this all the time. She goes through the first thing. She's an emotional buyer and she doesn't check the dimensions and she gets things that are oversized or way too small.
That's very funny. Yeah, I think we've all kind of been there on that one. Definitely having the dimensions in mind before you purchase is helpful. Sometimes things are just so cute. They look really great in the picture, and we imagine what they're going to look like in our home, in our bag, or whatever purpose that we're trying to use it for. So I could definitely understand that. Okay. One thing before we go today is I wanted to run through writing a product description with Jasper. And so I don't know if maybe we want to make up a product or like maybe come up with an idea. I don't know if our friend in the audience, Just Speak Digital, Jessica, if you'd like to come up and put us on the spot to run a little bit of Jasper magic for you and creating a product description or any type of description for your business, we'd love to have you come up and run you through that. Otherwise, oh, yeah. Hello. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. We would love to take you through Jasper on a test run to write a description of one of your products. Would you be interested in being the guinea pig for that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what product?
I'll give you
Not sure.
one. It's not connected to me. It isn't connected on my profile, but it's called Galaxy Beauty, and it's a skincare line. We do like bath salts, body butters, things to that effect.
Okay, Galaxy Beauty. So that's what we'll start with here. Give me just a second while I pull up Jasper. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the product description template first. Okay. So you say it's Galaxy Beauty, and can you tell me again a little bit about the products?
Yes, it's bath salts, body butters. So usually used for dry skin, people that have dry skin or folks that take baths, women primarily who just want to relax after a long day. Usually they're high profile, they like luxury items, they don't want to use store bought lotions and things like that because it dries out their skin even more, or they haven't found the right type of skincare regimen, right? So they're looking for things that will take care of their skin and make their skin soft.
Okay, great. So I put in a lot of those details that you just gave me. Jasper will then give you an opportunity to choose a tone of voice. And the tone of voice that I like to use myself is either Google, because obviously, who knows search engine voices better than Google, or something like expert copywriter. The one that I have in here right now that I've been using a lot lately is Maya Angelou because she's got such a creative descriptive way of writing. Jasper can mimic that as well. Or you could do happy, funny, witty, whatever, that type of thing. So is there any type of voice that you'd like me to throw in there?
Yeah, let's go with Maya Angelou.
Awesome. Yeah, these are my favorite. So I'm going to generate a couple product descriptions here. And this is the first one. This is for Galaxy Beauty. Just told us all about it just now. And Jasper outputted, take a break from the world and enter into a galaxy of beauty. Let these bath salts, body butters, and other indulgences transport you to another place where your skin can relax and rejuvenate. Our products are specially formulated to nourish and protect dry skin, giving you the spa like treatment you deserve.
Yeah,
And
that's spot on. That's basically what we've been saying in our messaging. Yep.
Wow.
awesome.
Crystal, I used the PAS framework, problem, agitate, solution, because I had mine pulled up. Do you want to read what it came up with?
Oh, yeah. Let us know.
Cool. Okay. Dry skin can be a real pain, and it's hard to find a skincare line that doesn't just dry out your skin even more. All those other products might work for other people, but they just don't work for you. You've tried everything, you've tried, or you're tired of feeling like your skin is never going to feel soft again. Galaxy Beauty has a perfect solution. Our line of natural bath salts, body butters, and skincare items are perfect for women who want to relax and escape their busy day. Our products are made with natural ingredients that won't dry out your skin. So many other products do.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. I love that one that you did, Crystal, the basic product. And then when you add this problem, agitate, solution framework, it's just a little bit better. I love it. I love all the things that this app can do.
Yeah. So have you ever heard of Jasper, Jessica?
No, and I actually work in this. I've heard of what's the one I've seen on TikTok. I actually used to work along with someone else who was doing something similar to what Jasper does. So I've heard of several others that I cannot think of the name right now. But I've heard of 7 of others. I haven't heard of Jasper yet, but it sounds like Jasper may be one I want to take a look at. I use a lot of tools in my day to day and recommend a lot of tools. So I'll take a look at it.
Awesome. Yeah. And then if you decide to check it out, my link is an affiliate link, but you do get 1,000 words for free. And Jasper has a really great Facebook community where people jump in there and share some of the things. Like that's where I heard about the expert copywriter tone of voice. And it was like so duh, but it was also so genius because I never would have thought of using that. So I learned about expert copywriter and also Google. And that was just some really insightful things that different users share within the Facebook group. Yeah, definitely love Jasper. And what we were talking about today, Faith and Shirley, is writing product descriptions. And we went through a long list of the things that you can do yourself in order to write a great product description. And everything that I talked about today was completely generated by Jasper, which was super cool as well. But if you don't have the time to write a million different product descriptions, which most of us do not have, sorry, my husband is calling me. But then also, if we don't have the time to do that, or we don't have the money to hire, these type of AI tools are so helpful in generating tons of really great content quickly. Now, there is the truth of the matter that the output is only as good as the input. But as you can tell, Jessica knows her product. She knows how she wants her end user to feel. She knows why they buy her product. So by inputting really great data points into Jasper, the output then becomes spot on. So Faith and Shirley, if you would like to come up to try out one of these frameworks for your own products, we'd be happy to run you through it. And Jessica, we thank you for joining us up on stage today.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. I just signed up. Love to support other, I don't know if are you a mom?
Oh, yes.
But I love to support other women. So I signed
Yes,
up.
we're both moms. Kelly has a daughter and I have a son.
Okay. I got a mom vibe from you. Okay. I'll go back down to the audience and listen. Thanks so much.
I love it. Thank you so much. So this was a great time today. I think running through it is just so powerful. And those were two very different outputs, like you using the problem agitate solution and then just that simple product description. I think, like you said, combining the two is such a great idea.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, you just have to go through and play with it. So if you're just new and you don't have any time, you just use one simple solution. Or if you're really trying to look like I was piecing together a subheadline template along with a product description template and like using different types of things to trigger, as you said, better input equals better output. So it's a great tool. All the tips that you gave today can still be created without the tool. It's just the tool makes it so much simpler. We can get more done, which I think is good for me and my clients. What can we get done faster and automate so that we have time to enjoy the life of the big dream that we're creating? So thank you so much for this,
Yeah,
Crystal.
exactly. And like you said, Jasper has a lot of different titles for the outputs that it creates. And there's one for Pinterest, which is that's my major platform. That's what I do for other people in addition to helping with their Shopify stores. I've loved Pinterest as a marketing platform, but the Pinterest outputs in Jasper aren't exactly what I'm looking for most of the time. So now I just usually use that ADA framework or the PAS framework or even a product description framework so that I can include those keywords in the Pinterest pin descriptions. But you combine the tool of Jasper with the tool of Canva for your graphic creation, and you are set. It's like you've hired a team, but you're just using two really awesome tools.
100% agree. So thanks for having me as a big contributor today. I really love being here, but we kept you long enough.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here, Kelly. Kelly is Health Coach Kel on Instagram. Definitely feel free to follow both of us if you found what we said today interesting. And also the Pinterest Pro Club at the very top. You can just hit that greenhouse and be notified when I have the next room, which every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern is our regularly scheduled time. So until next time, thanks so much for being here, Kelly. Thanks for co moderating today. I hope you have a wonderful day.